What's up, my YouTube family? My name is Jake, and welcome to On-Chain Gaming. Today, I have an update on Mirandus, which is the blockchain-enabled, massive multiplayer online role-playing game that I am super excited about. So, I have recently just bought my first deed in Mirandus, which is a land plot in the game, and I just want to share all about it with you, explain to you why I made this purchase, why I think it's a good idea, why I'm excited about Mirandus and blockchain gaming. So hopefully you guys are hyped for this video. Let's get right into it.
On-Chain Gaming.
Mirandus is one of the most ambitious MMORPGs that has been developed in probably the last decade. It's completely changing the framework of what an MMORPG is by giving players real ownership of both the land and the buildings in the game. Now, if you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that I have already bought a ton of buildings in Mirandus. I currently own 17 taverns because I'm hoping to start a Drunken Duck Tavern chain in the world of Mirandus, but then I also own one of the 5 majestic forges in Mirandus. My goal is that each of the Drunken Duck Taverns will be able to give out a unique NFT puzzle piece to every single person who visits one. And after you've visited all the Drunken Duck Taverns and you have every single NFT puzzle piece, you'll be able to travel to the Drunken Duck Majestic Forge in-game and forge a Drunken Duck Loyal Patron badge that will give you a discount across all of the Drunken Duck Taverns. But so far, because I only own buildings, as cool as I think my idea is, I'm gonna have to pay rent in every single place that I have a Drunken Duck Tavern. Because taverns are just buildings, and buildings need to be placed in Mirandus on land plots. So let's take a look at the land plot that I just bought, which is the very first one, meaning that I can have at least one tavern, or I guess technically if I wanted 3 taverns there, I could have 3 taverns in my tiny little town, and I wouldn't have to pay rent to anyone. And also, if I want to rent out some of the plots that are in what I bought, then I can do that as well. But the main reason why I just bought a farming hamlet is because I wanted to vertically integrate some of my supply chains. So now I'll be able to do the farming, I'll be able to store the farm in my own granary, I'll be able to do my own milling, and I'll be able to cook my own bread and other produce and store it in my own storehouse. And then I can take that produce from the storehouse and I can supply my own taverns. So that will hopefully bring costs down, and I'll be able to be more cost competitive in the world of Mirandus. Now, if you're really confused right now, you're like, what is this guy talking about? You can't do this kind of stuff in a video game. Well, that's true until now, and you need to watch my video on how blockchain gaming is going to be changing gaming and is going to be enabling the Ready Player One metaverse, and you need to watch my video on the initial tavern chain that I purchased. I think it's called, I spent $25,000 on Mirandus. If you watch that video, it'll explain to you how Mirandus is so different from other MMORPGs that have come out so far. So farming hamlets, the building that I just bought, are actually sold out if you're trying to buy them directly from Gala Games, who are the makers of Mirandus. So if you want to buy a farming hamlet now, which I wanted to do recently, you have to go on OpenSea, which is currently the biggest NFT marketplace. And on OpenSea, if you look at the farming hamlet, you can see that it's currently 4 Ethereum, or $7,165. So I actually bought mine for a little bit cheaper than this, and the farming hamlet has already gotten more expensive since my purchase. If we go to Etherscan, you can actually see my purchase on the blockchain, and I paid 3.33 Ethereum, or $5,535 for my farming hamlet. So if I wanted to turn around and sell it now, I could already make a $2,000 profit. Nice. That's pretty good, but I'm not planning on selling my farming hamlet because I need it to grow crops for my tavern. So now you might be asking, okay, so what is the farming hamlet? How big is it, and what can you actually do with it? So let's take a look at the farming hamlet layout. So if we zoom in here on the farming hamlet layout, you can see that there's a ton of farming plots available. I think the total number I think there's like 30 something farming plots in total, and I'm hoping to be able to grow a ton of different things in my fields. You can see that there's also a couple ranching spots, so I'm gonna be able to have cows, and I'm planning on having a barn as well, but we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so this is what the farming hamlet looks like. The yellow block there is actually my house, so that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna have a place to lay my head in the world of Mirandus, which I'm excited about. And by the way, if you don't know, there's only, I think, a little over 1,300 total land deeds in Mirandus, but the developers of the game are hoping that the game is gonna have millions of players. So if that confuses you a little bit and you're like, how is that gonna work if there's only 1,300 pieces of land and 1 million players? Well, the way that they have described it is like more than one person are gonna be able to use a single building. So for example, if I wanted to have some deal where every loyal Drunken Duck patron could store stuff and sleep in the house, then I could do that and there would be no problem with that. So entire guilds are gonna be able to use a single piece of property, but then also I think for a lot of players, there's really gonna be no need for a actual deed. You're gonna be able to adventure and level up your character and forge things and store things in vaults without having a land deed at all. So at least to my understanding, that's currently how the developers are thinking about this game. So if you think about it in contrast to like World of Warcraft, in that game, you can have a ton of fun doing a ton of things, and you don't need to own the inns or the taverns or the weapon shops or the forges. You don't need to own any of that. That's all controlled by NPCs, and the game is still fun. So the only difference now is instead of that stuff being controlled by NPCs, it's gonna be owned by some players. But the majority of players are still going to be playing this game like a normal MMORPG. So then if we look at the other 3 slots here, you can see that there's 3 10x10 slots and 4 5x5 plots, and those are going to be for buildings. So I have a ton of buildings already that I'm planning on putting in those spots, and I actually drew out a hand-drawn kind of plan for my farming hamlet. So let's take a look at that. You can see the Drunken Duck farming hamlet. In the top 10x10 slot, you can see that I'm planning on putting a tavern and then a granary and a barn. In the 4 5x5 plots, I have a bread stand, a grain stand, a simple storehouse, and a milking stand. The way that the game will work is that I'll be farming and then storing stuff in my granary. I'll then be milling it in my grain stand, then cooking it in the bread stand, storing it in the simple storehouse, and then using it in the tavern. And then the barn and the milking stand and the ranch, those are kind of self-explanatory. I'll have some cows, be able to make milk, and also hopefully I'll be able to keep my horses in the barn as well. I'm super hyped about my farming hamlet purchase. I think the idea of spending $5,000 on a virtual blockchain piece of land is pretty strange right now, but in my opinion, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's gonna be the most commonplace thing ever, because people are going to start working on the blockchain. Like literally, some people's full-time jobs or part-time jobs are gonna be spent in virtual worlds, but they're interacting in real crypto economies in those virtual worlds, which allows that to be their actual employment. So I'm really excited about the future of blockchain gaming. I'm really excited about Mirandus. I'm starting to build up what I own in the game. I already feel like a king of some kind. I'm gonna have my own ranching hamlet. And then in a main citadel, I'll have my majestic forge and a grand tavern. Then I'll have some other large taverns spread around and a ton of tiny taverns spread around the world of Mirandus as well. But then the Drunken Duck also has a bunch of partners and franchise owners now that have been getting in contact with me in the Drunken Duck Discord server, and they're gonna be running even more taverns. So there's gonna be 27 or maybe even more than 30 by the time the game comes out taverns that are Drunken Duck Taverns in the world of Mirandus. We're building an incredible franchise, I think, in the world. And yeah, I'm just really excited about everything that's happening. I'm super excited. I'm super hyped about this YouTube channel as well, making a ton of content about blockchain gaming. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a big thumbs up and let me know what you want me to talk about in the future. What blockchain games are you excited about? What things about Mirandus are you excited about and want me to talk about or are confused about and want me to share my opinion on? Also, yeah, like I said, other blockchain games, questions about Axie Infinity, just the whole Ready Player One metaverse as it's being formed. Just let me know in the comments, and I will love to make videos about anything related to any of those topics. Also, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already. On-Chain Gaming is going to be your home, hopefully, if I'm motivated enough to continue making content, which right now I'm super motivated about this. It will be your home for blockchain gaming content. So yeah, I'll see you all next time. Until then, have fun roaming the metaverse.